Hey everyone, and welcome back to Up for Bad Gaming. So today is another React video, but a little bit different today. So it's not a list video. I know plenty of the ones I'm doing usually are here's all the rages, here's the things you can buy for this, and all those kind of videos. But today, no, we're going to have a look at the film Free Guy. So obviously, Free Guy is a film that's just gone over onto Disney Plus in the UK, so you can now watch it if you do have a membership there, and came out about a month or two back now, and we've all known about it for quite a while. People like Jacksepticeye obviously been advertising it on their channel. The premise of the film is one we all know. Basically, an NPC in a game becomes sentient and comes to life, and the film is effectively him discovering what's going on. So, I have just seen the film for the first time, and I have to say, when I saw it advertised, I was interested. I thought, yeah, this would be good. I like Ryan Reynolds, because who doesn't like Ryan Reynolds? And I thought, yeah, it'd be interesting to be another one with Ryan Reynolds. I like people like Jacksepticeye. I didn't know how big his role in the film was, obviously seen because of his channel, and it just looked like an interesting premise. Obviously, I am not a great gamer, hence my name, Up for Bad Gaming, but I do obviously interact with the games occasionally, and I do like the ones where you kind of have more of a say and interaction with the NPCs, such as Road 96, which is what I've been playing quite recently. So I like the idea, I like the premise. There is obviously always the slight worry that you get a very similar Ryan Reynolds. He's a very charming, very likeable person, but in a lot of films, Ryan Reynolds is Ryan Reynolds. He was the perfect person for Deadpool because Ryan Reynolds' personality fits very much to a specific version of Deadpool from the comic books. He fits as the hitman's bodyguard because that kind of cockiness fits the character. What I will say is with Free Guy, you don't get as much of that. You do still get the likability and the charming interactions of Ryan Reynolds, but what you do also get is you very much feel that this NPC is coming to life, and that's a great thing that's been added to the film, is this idea that this NPC has just somehow come to life and realized that he doesn't have to continue with his same life, that there are other things out there, that there's a world beyond just walking down the street talking to the same person every day, saying the same things to people that are going past. And the fact that more of that comes into it and then merges with that likability and the charming nature that Ryan Reynolds just has is something that I think is very different to a lot of films we see Ryan Reynolds in, which is absolutely amazing. The character building in this, as you'd kind of expect from a film that is about characters. I mean, it's about NPCs and players, and I mean, the whole thing is character led. Is amazing. The character build specifically for Free Guy, this idea that he just manages to get hold of things and turn himself into the good guy. He suddenly becomes blue shirt guy, that all of the gamers are lording over with praise and everything like that, is absolutely amazing. When it first happens, obviously a lot of people just think, well, it's a glitch, and then you start to discover more and more as it goes on. It is an amazing, just wild ride when you go on it. It's got everything that you need from a summer film. Summer movie, you expect the big blockbuster, you expect the money, you expect all that kind of stuff, but it does integrate with certain games. It has a lot of feel of Grand Theft Auto to me. That's the film I see most in it. Potentially also things like Fortnite as well seem to be the most interactive in my mind, but again, there's probably some far better gamers out there saying no, it's completely this. But from what I see, that seems to be the element that is interacted a lot with the film, and it works. It somehow works. They merge together this idea that everything is just a crazy game world, and the NPCs just don't care. They just carry on, and yet it still works, and you can see the kind of genius that comes with it there. And then alongside it, you have two elements to this film. So you have this realization and moving forward of Guy, blue shirt guy, Ryan Reynolds. You have his character that's, comes to life effectively and start to discover more and start to become the infamous blue shirt guy that everyone lords praise over, and then his journey onwards. That's in the game world. But what this film also does is it gives us that real world interaction as well. There's other things going on in the background. There's a whole story about the creators of the game, the owner of the company that's behind the program, everything like that's happening in alongside it, and that is also really engrossing. And you do find yourself really becoming enamored with the characters and really caring about them on both sides, both in the game and in the real world. The only one bit that doesn't work for me with that interaction is Taika Waititi. Now, the reason I don't think he works is because Waititi's character in the film is basically the big bad. He's the big bad. He's the one that's going to ruin everything in the real world. Now, everyone in the real world acts like a normal person. They may be a little bit exaggerated. There might be some hyperbole to how they move their actions in the real world, but they're still doing things that you could believe from real people. Even when you come out of the game and you see people playing the certain characters and their response in the real world, their kind of troll nature or what they're doing makes sense. That's how you expect them to be. Or lawsuits that are going on in the background, news broadcasts, everything works. The problem in terms of Waititi is that he feels like a game bad guy put into the real world. He's far too excitable and extravagant, and he feels like a villain. And the problem is that the film does a really good job of building a world in which we can separate. Although we see the development and character building and world building of Free City, which is where Blue Shirt Guy is, and we see that, we do know the separation, and we see it very clearly of the real world. Waititi doesn't seem to have that separation. He's never in the game, never seen as a player, and yet he feels like he should have horns or some kind of cape or a sinister laugh, because it feels like he should be someone in the game killing people. He doesn't feel like a real world zealous businessman who is just out for himself. It feels too much. I think that's a problem with Waititi in general. When he plays characters, he is that kind of comic person. Now, that's nothing against him. That's just the kind of actor he is, and that's absolutely fine. That works for certain films. That works really well for certain films. For this one, I think they put him in the wrong role. I think if maybe that role had been one that was in Blue Shirt Guys, if it'd been in there, if it'd been in Free City, he'd have been working perfectly. It would have worked great. There'd have been something to it. Or if there was almost two sides to it, where you saw him playing the game, and in the game, he was this over the top, extravagant villain, and then in the real world it was something else. I think that would have been the way around it. Him going into the game and becoming the character that we saw of him all the way through. That may have been the way round it. Unfortunately, that's not what we got. But what I will say is that's the only thing that I can pick at all in this film. I think it's fantastic. Just everything, his Ryan Reynolds' interactions with things, his discovery of certain things happening, and there's a childlike nature to his character that, although yes, it's still Ryan Reynolds, it feels so real for that character. It feels very first time and just discovering, and it's so good from Ryan Reynolds in this film. And I have to say, even the interactions from the YouTube stars that are in it, there's quite a few YouTube stars in there, and given, okay, they're playing from a script, they're used to being on camera, but they're still acting, they're still saying lines that are not real, and yet you can feel something from it. They actually do really well. There's even some moments in the film where they're rooting behind them, and you can feel some emotion from people like Jacksepticeye that is, I think, far better than we see from a lot of times, where you just get some random, online celebrity or something showing up in a film. They've used them sparingly, and they've done it well. They didn't overuse them, didn't use them and just go, we want you in this for the whole thing. Found out they couldn't act. They've put them in for small amounts, but they've done it really sparingly. They've done it really well, and I think it works so well. What I would say is, if you want to go and see this film, in fact, not just if you want to go and see this, go and see this film. Go on to get your Disney Plus thing. If you're in America, I'm not too sure whether it's on the Disney Plus there as well. I'm guessing it probably is, and for the rest of the world as well. It definitely is here in the UK. But I'd absolutely recommend it, whether you're a gamer or not. So I am up for bad gaming, but I don't consider myself a gamer per se. But the interactions I have had in gaming that give me that extra little bit of knowledge in certain places with this film, I think you can pick out more. So full-on gamers will be able to pick out so much more, and they'll see where certain things are from. But even people that are just complete novices to it, I think you'll see that world, and you'll see just an amazing story that goes all the way through. And if you can keep up with both sides of the story, both in world and in real life, I think you're really in for a great experience watching the film. I don't think you'll regret it at all. There is kind of love story and all that way through. There are actually moments in it that were to a point unexpected, or not necessarily expected in the same way, especially when it gets to the end of the film. And I think that's fantastic. I think for a film that could have so easily gone a certain route, it didn't, and that's just it's a real surprise, and it just goes to show how good this film really is, beyond what you'd expect from just a big budget summer film that has a lot of celebrities and random things in it. It is really worth a watch. So I think, yeah, absolutely, out of 5 I would give this film 4.8. It is fantastic. Now, yeah, that my estimations of it may go down over time, but right now, and since I've got back more into gaming and with just everything, I think it is so worth watching. Do give it a try. If there's anything else you want me to react to as well, or any films coming up, do let me know. But I thought, because I am up for bad gaming, I'm getting more into gaming, and I thought this was just a film that needed reviewing on this channel and reacting to, because of any film, if there's ever going to be a film that this channel reacts to, has to be a gaming one like Free Guy. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope you've enjoyed this reaction to it, and I will see you next time. Thanks, everyone.